We are ready.
Said they loved it, and when they asked them why they liked it so much, and says, "Because you dance like you were black." And I know that's from going to an all-black school.
Would you like to sit here? Or?
No, this one.
Okay.
He's just getting
It would be so pleasant. So
No,
open.
excuse me, Wayne,
Was this a 2-shot cutaway or just a 1-shot cutaway?
One. Me.
I think we have the same hairdos.
I got it. Vinny and I are very good friends and have been for some years, and we go on film junkets a lot, and we try, to get the same flights because we just love to sit and talk about films, the new films and everything. And when we're in Atlanta or Chicago or, wherever.
Wow, exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Do you travel to do?
Maybe 2-3 times a month.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, quite a bit.
To see the new films that are out and things.
See, I review as well as do. John, we see you, of course, as Vinny Barbarino. Now in the movie Saturday Night Fever, we're seeing you as Tony. Both of these people are very strong, aggressive personalities. I wonder, is John Travolta a strong, aggressive personality?
I guess it depends on the day. Sometimes not.
But is John Travolta perhaps a quieter person most of the time than either of those two fellows?
Yes. Very much so.
Is it difficult for you to talk about yourself, John? I sense in you a little bit of a shyness or a little bit of reticence to talk about yourself. Would that be true?
Yes, it is true. I find it, when you get a lot of, I guess when you're in the public's eye like myself, there's so much attention on yourself that you tend to get introverted after a while because there's so much attention coming your way that you have to look inward all the time to gather your thoughts. So when it's constantly coming from one direction to you, you tend to be reluctant to go inwardly to get the answers. Does that make sense?
I think I know what you're trying to say. Is it also, though, John, a little bit of a defense mechanism when you get to be the public property that you are now?
Yes, it is a defense mechanism for exactly that same reason. Because you sort of want to analyze the question before you answer it, just so you can maybe keep somewhat of a private life and reveal only what you'd like to reveal, I guess.
John, was there ever a time in your early life that you were anything like Vinny or anything like Tony, in that you were a little bit of that macho person or a little bit of that stud?
Never.
What were you like as a younger person?
Sort of like how I am now. I don't really identify with either of those characters. They're really a creation that I've, as an artist, made up.
Why is it then that Jimmy Comack immediately saw you as Vinny Barbarino? What did he see in this quiet, rather shy person that made him think of Vinny?
I think he admired how I was acting. I was portraying that character, and he believed it, and he realized I was acting, because of course you meet the producers and directors before you audition, and they see you as yourself. But then you get to show them the character you've developed, and if it's believable and you look right and that kind of thing, then it all adds up to getting the part.
Did you pattern these strong, aggressive personalities after somebody that you knew perhaps in school?
A little of everything. A little of what I observe in present time, a little of what I remember as a kid, or, you know. You know, as an artist, you tend to observe everything around you, and if they can add up to creating a character for yourself, then it all makes sense. And you then have the tools to build a character.
In Saturday Night Fever, John, you are really some kind of dancer. And watching you, it's so fluid, and it seems so natural for you. You dance as naturally as most people walk, and better than most people walk, if I might say so. Now, what is your background? What is your training as a dancer?
Most of my training as a dancer has been through experience. In other words, doing musical shows and things like that. The training for this film specifically happened 5 months, started 5 months before the film, and went on through to the start of the shoot date, where I danced 3 hours a day and ran 2 miles a day to keep in shape, and worked out a half an hour on top of that. But that all added up to the product you saw on the screen. But basically, it's a feel for dancing that I have and love.
John, did you check out the disco scene, or are you a person who spent a lot of time hanging around discos?
No. But I did check it out. I investigated the discos in Brooklyn and Los Angeles, and I did my research, as it were.
How come that's never been a part of your life? Most young people at some time or another, or even older people like myself, like to go to discos occasionally. How come that was never a part of your life?
Well, I did go. I don't mean to say that I have not been on social occasions, but it's not an avid part of my life. You know, I don't go every week or that kind of thing, but maybe once a month, once every 2 months, I'll go with a group of friends or something and have a good time. You know, of course, for me, it's different because I'm a celebrity, and when I go to a public place, it's not as casual as anyone else going. So therefore, that could sort of inhibit my going to these, because I do like to dance and I like to disco too.
John, do you know Henry Winkler very well?
I know Henry Winkler. We've had a few meetings. You know, we've talked on the set on occasion when he was doing his film and I was doing Grease. We talked, and we've talked on about 4 occasions.
Do you,
About
do you,
10-minute intervals, something like that.
do you get along well together?
Very much so. I really like Henry. I'm very fond of him.
Do you see great similarities in your lives as actors and performers?
The common ground would probably be the fame end of it. But similarities as performers or actors, I don't really see a whole lot of similarity.
Your careers, though, have followed parallel lines, don't you think? The TV series and then the major film.
Well, yeah, again, that's more career and fame end of it. I thought you meant as actors, like in what we portray. Similar, I think our careers have run parallel. TV series, movies, things like that, and publicity. But that's about all.
John, when you got into Kotter's gang, the Sweat Hogs, when you got into that series, did you have in the back of your mind, hey, I'll do this and I'll do it well and try to make some points for myself, but it's got to be something better than this for me? Was that in the back of your mind at that time?
Well, I was excited about doing Vinnie Barbarino. But then I don't know, just doing that was of interest to me at the time. And then I always knew I would end up doing films and other things too. Because I had been close in other films I had auditioned for, and a lot of directors and producers really liked me in the industry, even before the Welcome Back, Kotter series. I had such good um, I had such admiration from the industry already that I had no fear of doing other things. So at the time I got Kotter, it was just something that I wanted to do.
What is the future of the Sweat Hogs now?
I don't know. I guess to continue on. I would like to go on. I would like to make a trade with ABC and maybe get off this year. And maybe trade a special or a movie of the week or a play or something so I can go and do some other things. I sort of feel like 3 years is plenty.
How could they write you out of the series, John?
Oh, I think it's pretty easy. I mean, Vinny could move or Vinny could graduate. That's that's always a good one. I think there's numerous ways.
So what you're saying then is that you don't intend to be back with the Sweat Hogs next season. Is that what you're saying?
I would rather not be next year back on, but I guess it's all up to ABC now. Do you know if they're willing to make a trade with me?
And if they wouldn't be, and they said, no, you've got to go back, then what?
Well, I guess I'd have to really evaluate the situation. I mean, I'm not even thinking in the negatives. I guess everyone has the right to do whatever they want, you know. But I like to do things ethically and fairly. And I was hoping that, it would all work out.
There's been some talk, John, that you might even get an Academy nomination. Now, let's say you got the nomination. Let's say even that you won. You like that idea.
Whenever I hear that, I get very excited.
But the point is, I don't see John Travolta, Academy Award nominee, going back into the series. Mm-hmm. Do you?
Well, I hope not. Do you know? But again, just to not to be redundant, but I guess I am under contract, so that poses certain problems. That's why I'm hoping that Freddie Silverman and myself can work out some sort of a deal, because I think actually 3 years is enough for any one character. I think I only did 9 months to a year with my Broadway characters, and I was through. I was ready to move on. So I think Vinny, 3 years of Vinny Barbarino is plenty.
We've been told time and again that one of the best ways to sort of get to know what's going on in somebody's head is to find out what their worries are. And John, I wonder, looking back over the last couple of years, how have your worries changed?
They've gone from many to less. I mean, I have much. I don't worry as much as I did then.
What did you used to worry about?
Oh, whether things were going to work out, and people would see my abilities, I guess, and I would have a long-lasting career. And now I have no doubts about that kind of a thing.
Did you used to worry about material things?
You mean, I'm sorry, like what?
Well, like little luxuries, a better house, a bigger car or something.
No, I was never too concerned with that. It all comes. But mostly I was more concerned with doing a good job and hoping that my good job would be, in someone else's eyes, a good job. Do you know? Like judging your own abilities and having it coincide with someone else's viewpoint is important, because then if you're the only one who thinks you're good and you're not very good, then I guess, then you're not, it doesn't go very far then. What's ideal is for you to think you're good and someone else to, too.
John, now that you are really getting up there, if not superstardom, you're certainly approaching it. What do you worry about in that respect?
I'm not very concerned about it in any way.
You're not afraid that it'll be taken away or that the bubble will burst?
No, I've had such a good life in the last 3 years, I couldn't complain about anything. And if it did, I'd have to deal with it.
John, you have had such a thrilling year, the culmination of these years as an actor in your film Saturday Night Fever that's getting good reviews, that's doing good business. You're getting lots of accolades as an actor and a performer. And you've got that great high going for you. And at the same time, just a few months ago, you lost someone very precious to you, someone you loved very dearly, Diana Hyland. And I almost can't talk about it because I feel for you. How has this affected you emotionally to be at two opposite ends of the pole in one's emotional makeup?
You know, it's difficult. It always is, you know, whenever something, you know, as traumatic happens to one's life, it's difficult to adjust. But basically, you know, that is it. It is something that's not easy, and you do whatever you can to survive it.
Does the fact that the career now is at such a zenith, does that help, or in some ways does that even make it harder?
I don't know. I think it can help to take your attention off something. You know, if good things are happening around you, it does tend to bring your spirits up. So I can say it. You know, it certainly helps in helps your morale, maybe, that kind of thing.
And I really hesitate to put words in your mouth, but at the same time, not having someone to share it with makes it lots lonelier, doesn't it?
Sure. Absolutely.
Well, John, we look forward to seeing you again because you have another film coming out. When will Grease be out?
May. In May.
So we will hope that you'll come back to our Fort Worth, Dallas area, and that we'll have a chance to talk with you about Grease as well as Saturday Night Fever.
Okay, thank you very much.